What's up, guys? So in today's video, I'm just going to be talking about how truck driving changed my life. I want to talk about this because I feel like this is an important topic, and I also want to motivate and inspire anyone who feels like they don't know where their life is headed and what direction their life is going to go in. I've been in that situation. I know how that feels, and I'm making this video to help you guys out who may feel like they don't know what they want to do with their life. So after I graduated from high school in 2018, I went to college to study IT because I've always been really into gaming. I actually started my YouTube channel because of gaming. If you guys scroll down, you guys will see I have a whole bunch of gaming content on my channel. That's because before I became a truck driver, I was actually a gamer. So yeah, I went to college to study IT. I went there for about half a year. Everything was going good. You know, everything was fine. My grades were well. I was never late to class, and everything was smooth. Eventually, I started failing one class called statistics. Started failing that class. It was very hard. I couldn't understand it. It didn't matter how many questions I've asked. I still couldn't understand the concept of, you know, the class in general. It was just very confusing. I'm not really that good at math, so I ended up failing that class, and I needed to pass that class in order to move on to the next year. Eventually that led to me dropping out of college altogether. While I was in college, I actually was working as a security guard at a department store called Century 21. If you guys don't know what Century 21 is, it's, like I said, it's a department store. They closed down now. I'm not sure. Yeah, they closed down like once the pandemic hit in 2020, but I'm not sure if they came out with any new stores or anything like that. I highly doubt it. So I worked there for 2 years. Then once the pandemic hit, I got laid off. So they laid everybody off, and I was unemployed. I was unemployed for about a year. And during that time, I was very lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Eventually, I ended up applying for jobs. I ended up getting a job at FedEx, at a FedEx warehouse, and I did package handling. Now, if you're watching this video and you currently work at a FedEx warehouse, you know that it's very hard. Or if you've ever worked at a FedEx warehouse in general, you guys know it's very hard. It's very taxing on the body. And the working conditions, man, it's just really tough. It's really hot in those warehouses, and it's not clean, you know. So I worked there for 2 weeks, and eventually I ended up quitting because I got my first paycheck, and it just wasn't worth it, you know. It wasn't worth all the hard labor that they were putting us through, man. It was really hard labor, guys, and you know, the paycheck, it just didn't match up with the work, you know. But at the time when I worked at the FedEx warehouse, I had to live with my aunt because the commute from work to my house was just too far, and it would have been too expensive as far as like paying for tolls and as far as gas goes, because, you know, you gotta pay for gas, you know. After I quit that job, I ended up getting another security job, and I started working for the MTA. I started being a security guard at a subway station. I did that for a couple of weeks. Then I ended up quitting that job because I didn't like how my boss was treating me. I didn't like how he spoke to me. So I ended up leaving. Now, while I was a security guard working at an MTA station or train station or whatever the case may be, I was leaving my apartment one day or one night, because I did work that job overnight. I also worked the FedEx job overnight, so I was just working overnight jobs for a little bit, which was also very depressing. I was leaving my apartment one night, and my neighbor's friend was leaving her apartment, and I just so happened to get on the elevator with him, and he asked me, he was like, "Hey, do you have your CDL license?" And I said, "No, I don't have my CDL license." And he was like, "Wow, you should look into getting your CDL license, and you should try to drive buses," because he drove a bus, and he told me that I should look into getting my Class B CDL so that I can start driving buses and I can start making good money, and I can move out the ghetto, because, you know, I live in a pretty tough area. So yeah, he suggested that to me, And he said, yeah, man, think about it, look into getting your CDL Class B so that you could, live a better life. After I quit my security job at the MTA station, I started doing research on CDL and commercial driving. But when I started doing my research, initially I wasn't trying to get my Class A. I was just trying to get my Class B license. I had no idea that there was even such thing as a Class A license. So as I was doing my research, I came across, CDL Class A license. And from that point, I just stuck with it, At that point, I knew, like, this is what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? And I had a really strong feeling that I was destined to become a truck driver, because I feel like me meeting up with that guy that one night, conveniently, him leaving my neighbor's apartment and me leaving my apartment at the same time, I felt like it was a little too much of a coincidence. And I felt like it was God's way of helping me out, and it was God's way of telling me, like, hey, this is what you should do. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like God has a very funny way of putting certain people in your life at certain times. And that right there, I felt like that was a moment where God was putting somebody in my life at a specific time and a specific point in my life, because I really felt lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And who knows, maybe you coming across this video, maybe that's God's way of putting somebody or putting someone in your life in a way, or sending a message to you. So once I started looking into getting my Class A CDL license, I studied really hard. Eventually I ended up getting my CDL permit. So yeah, I was really excited about that. After I got my permit, my dad, he got me connections to this program, and they taught, they basically taught things that you needed to know in order to pass the road test, how to back. They taught you the pre-trip inspection, and they took you out on the road to get you comfortable with driving a semi-truck. So I did that program for about a month and a half maybe. And then I decided I wanted to try to give it try to give my road test a try, see if I can pass. Ended up failing the first time. It was very demotivating, and I feel like I only failed because the school wasn't really that good. They didn't teach me that good, especially as far as backing. They taught really well as far as the pre-trip inspection goes, because I did pass my pre-trip inspection part of the test. I just ended up failing on my parallel parking part of the test. So that was that. Then after a while, I came across Swift, and I was like, hey man, this looks like a really good opportunity. I applied for Swift. I went to Swift school for 2 weeks, and the rest is history, man. The rest is history. I ended up passing my CDL road test on the first try when I went to Swift school, and I really can't thank Swift enough, man. Swift changed my life, man. Trucking changed my life, and I would never take it for granted, man. And the crazy thing is, after I failed my road test the first time, I tried to apply to other trucking companies to try to get my license through them, and no other company took me. Swift was the only company that took me, which is why I'm so loyal to Swift, and that's why I really appreciate Swift so much, because they gave me a chance, and they actually gave me an opportunity that no other company gave me. Truck driving finally gave me an opportunity to be able to truly feel independent and truly feel like I can actually take care of myself. I feel like before I became a truck driver, I felt like I couldn't take care of myself. I felt like I always relied on my parents to take care of me, or somebody to take care of me. And I feel like truck driving, it finally gave me a chance to feel independent, 100% independent. I'll forever be grateful, man. I will. And I'm here to tell you guys, hey, if you're going through something and you're struggling, you can get through it. You can always get through it. If you feel like you have no direction, there's always something out there. There's something for everybody. If you feel like this is nothing for you, there's definitely something out there for you. You just have to find it. And if you don't find it, God will help you find it. God helped me find truck driving. So yeah, that's pretty much my story, man. And like I said, truck driving, it changed my life. You know, it gave me a permanent job. It gave me a job for the rest of my life. And that's the beautiful thing about getting a CDL license, guys. Is once you get your CDL license, you have job securement for life. There's really no other. There's other professions where I feel like you can have job securement for life, but truck driving is one of the rare few. That's why I said it so many times. I'm just so grateful, man, to be in the position that I'm in. There was a point in my life after I got laid off as a security guard at Century 21, there was a point where I had no money. Literally no money. My account was negative at one point. You know, I went from having a negative account to making the most money I've ever made in my whole entire life. Who would have thought, right? If you watched the whole video, just comment, keep pushing. All right, comment, keep pushing, man, because at the end of the day, whenever you're going through it in life, and you're feeling down and you feel like you have no direction, that's what you have to do, man. You just have to keep pushing, keep striving. Actually, comment, keep striving. All right, that's what you have to do, is just keep striving, and God will reward you for that. He will, as long as you keep going. Just keep pushing, man. Don't give up. And I hope this video helped you guys out. If you feel like there's somebody that you know that needs to see this video, share it with them. Okay, share it with them, man, because they may need it. Whenever you're feeling down, you could come to this video and it can lift you right back up. Okay, all right, I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace out.